So you want to pivot into tech, but you're living paycheck to paycheck right now. And the way your bank account is set up, you're probably saying, I know that I can't afford that right now, right? And I get it. I also was living paycheck to paycheck when I pivoted. But that was the sacrifice that I was willing to make when I decided to use my tax refund to do so. But here's the truth. You don't even need thousands of dollars stacked up into a savings account or anything like that for you to get started. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down exactly how you can pivot into tech, even if you're broke. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then let's just go ahead and jump right into it. So like I had mentioned before, when I started, I didn't even have a savings account, nothing saved up. I was living paycheck to paycheck. All that I had was kids, responsibilities, and bills. That's what I had. That's like the majority of you guys. You guys are pretty much in the same boat as I was back when I pivoted. So the thought of paying like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a boot camp basically can seem completely out of reach. And I can understand that. So let's start with the first one. Leveraging work benefits. This is the one thing that a lot of people do not take full advantage on, so do not sleep on this. Check to see if your current job offers like tuition reimbursement, professional development funds, or even free LinkedIn access. A lot of companies have budget for employee growth, and the fact that you didn't ask about it or that you don't know about it does not mean that it don't exist. And the crazy thing is that most people don't ever use them. Reach out to HR, figure out what growth opportunity courses can they offer you to actually help you do that. And you'll be very surprised to find out that they're willing to actually pay for your education. Here's my thing. If they're draining the life out of you and you have to show up for that, baby, get something out of it. Make them pay for something. Make them pay for your future. That's hundreds of dollars that you don't have to come out of pocket for. Tax refund plus sacrifice. So this is the route that I actually took. Back when I was actually getting tax returns, I was actually getting anywhere between $7,000, $8,000, even sometimes $9,000 back for my tax refund. And every year I would go out and make sure that I got my kids clothes. I would actually go out and buy me stuff. I would probably go buy a TV. I would just go out and go shopping because I have been deprived of all of that the entire year. It's like some of the things that you want to do because you haven't been able to do it. So then once you get a little money, you want to go out and experience life and all of that. But that can be so short-lived. You see what I'm saying? Like tax return only comes around once a year. But what if you can make that kind of money every single month, where you can live the kind of life that you want to live every single month? When tax return comes around, I took $2,000 of my money and I went and I bought me a laptop and basically invested in myself. And then I enrolled into me a boot camp. And basically that was the best decision I had ever made. And with tax season only being like 4 months away, you guys might be actually sitting on the very thing that can actually fund your pivot. Instead of going out buying a TV, instead of me going out buying clothes that I know is gonna basically for me to be broke by spring break, which was gonna be the next month in March, there was really literally no point. So I said, instead of just waiting once a year for one big grand amount, why not make this kind of money every single month? And then that's what I did. I took $2,000 in less than 9 months. I had basically got my return on my investment. And some of you probably saying, well, Mika, I don't have kids, I don't have dependent, or I owe, or I don't ever get a tax return. Okay, so with that, you can also sacrifice. That was something that I also did as well. We didn't have cable. I couldn't even afford the water bill. What makes you think I can afford a cable bill? So I had no cable. We ended up having to sacrifice on, I had to keep the Wi-Fi because I needed that for like school stuff, but that was all we had was Wi-Fi. Back then, I didn't have Netflix. I wasn't streaming all of that stuff. I didn't have that stuff. So skipping that weekend trip, saving anywhere between $100 to $200 a month, if you do that for the next 4 months all the way up until like tax return, that can be almost up to $1,000. And that's something that you can actually utilize or to put into your pivot fund to help you pivot into tech. This is not forever. So remember, a temporary sacrifice is actually going to be a long-term gain. Trust me. Free or low-cost learning. There are so many different free opportunities that are out there for you guys to learn and to utilize in order for you to be able to learn SQL, Excel, some sort of reporting, whether it's Power BI or Tableau. The biggest myth that's out there is that you need 10, 15, $20,000 to afford a boot camp. You need $15,000 to afford a boot camp in order for you to get started, or for you to be able to even remotely pivot into tech. Because some of you are probably like me. Some of you are probably saying, well, I can't be self-disciplined. I can't go back to school, but I don't have $15,000, $20,000 to go back to a boot camp. And honestly and truly, that's not simply true. You don't even need that, because there is actually free plus low-cost learning opportunities that are out there. Take YouTube, for instance. I've said this 1,000 times. Alex the Analyst has a complete data analytics boot camp that is on YouTube, and is absolutely free. There have been millions of people that have watched his videos, and basically he is teaching you about SQL, Python, Excel, some sort of reporting, all of that. He's teaching you all of that, and it's all on YouTube for absolutely free. You also have like the Data Professor and Free Code Camp. All of those are free to you. And then when you get ready to build like your reports, which I highly encourage you to build at least one before you go on your interview, there's free platforms like Kaggle that has free data sets that you can actually use to create your project. So there's low-cost structured paths such as like Coursera, Google Certificate, all of that you have access to. No, those are not free, but they actually are low cost. And then you also have like very low cost like Udemy. Udemy has stuff like $10, $20. I know that when I took the Scrum Master course, it was literally like $19 for me to take the full course. And the great thing about it, if you want to pivot into data analytics, it doesn't even require you to be certified. So you can basically pay $10, $20 on Udemy to learn a course if that's what the route you want to go, and then boom, you don't even have to be certified. Once you're done, create your project and then start pivoting. Imagine this, less than what you spend on Netflix. You can learn Excel, SQL, even a UX design. It's not about expensive programs. It's about getting started and then being consistent. This is the one thing that I'm sure that a lot of people don't want to do, but these are what we call side hustles. And I get this, sis. I get that you're tired. I get that you got kids. I get that. But again, this is only temporary. I'll get you like a side gig or something that's going to actually help just to only fund your pivot, nothing else. Okay, so once your pivot has been funded, then you can quit, right? But you can do DoorDash, you can do Instacart, you can do Spark, you can do all of that. Freelancing platforms like Fiverr and Upwork. You can do online gigs, you can do tutoring, you can sell purses, you can bake cookies, you can do whatever you want to do. That's gonna actually help bring in, and trust me, if you had $100, if that can bring you $100 or maybe even $200 a month, that can be anywhere between $400 to $800 within the next 4 months. And that could be a down payment on you a boot camp, or you just to take you a certification if that's what you want to do. All of that, and it's only for like 4 months. Use that side hustle to only fund just your pivot, and then once that happens, you are free to let it go. So again, it's not forever, it's just for your pivot season. So if you do decide to take the bootcamp route, kind of like what I did, but they do offer like different discounts, scholarships, and all of that as well. But you have the opportunity where you can actually defer your payments, and not until you even land a job. Once you get placed, and you can actually pay them back. Or you can actually do financing where you can just pay per month and all of that. So there is opportunities out there for you to try that if you decide to go the bootcamp route. So if you're broke, these opportunities can actually lower the barrier, and it allows you to actually start today. You don't have to push it off. You don't have to say, well, girl, let me wait till the beginning of the year. But what I'm saying is that they do actually have deferred payments where you do not actually have to wait. You can actually start today. So listen, I know that it can be overwhelming, especially when you are broke and you're staring at bills, okay? Like I've said, I've been there. I have, and I get it. I know what it's like to live paycheck to paycheck. I know what it's like when you saying, sis, I can't even afford this bill, let alone trying to pay for a boot camp or do this or do that. But here's what I need you to remember though. You don't have to do everything at once. So like maybe today it's just a free YouTube course, or just learning from Alex the Analyst for his free boot camp. Maybe you're saying in 4 months, then I'll just go ahead, Mika, and use my tax refund. You have that. Or maybe in 6 months after taking a $20 Udemy course, and then finally you decide you're going to go ahead and save up to pay for a certification. Again, it doesn't all have to be done at once, and you can choose whatever path you like. But every step matters. So if you stay consistent, those small steps will turn into a career pivot that will change your life. The reason why I come on YouTube to tell you guys about pivoting into the job of your dreams is because I know what tech did for me. I know what data analytics did for me and my family and for my life. I know how it changed my life, and it changed my life so drastically that I want to shout to the rooftop, and I just want everybody to know about it. I want every person to have the same opportunity. Yes, we may be from different environments, but you are not a victim of your environment. You have the opportunity to change your outcome. Be the first person in your family to break that cycle and not be broke. Change your life, change your career. And my thing is that you don't no longer have to wait until tax return to be able to go on trips and do this. Or that wonderful saying, I can do it, girl, but I got to wait till Friday till I get paid. You don't have to do that. Again, I know what tech did for me. And I just only want you to experience it. And that's the reason why I tell you guys about pivoting into the career of your dreams, because you don't have to work that hard. You don't have to work hard and still struggle. So, can you afford to pivot when you're broke? Absolutely. Not by waiting for the perfect opportunity, not waiting for the perfect time, but by being resourceful. Because there will never really be a perfect opportunity. Do you know what I could have done with $2,000? Do you know I could have probably paid my water bill up, or I could have paid the light bill, or I could have done something with that $2,000. But that was only going to be a temporary fix. So I figured that if I took that money and invested in myself, that was going to be a long-term investment. So use free tools, leverage your refund, make sacrifices, or do side hustles, or take advantage of payment plans. I promise you that if I can do it, you can too. So if this video gave you hope, or you felt like this was helpful, comment down below to let me know which tip that you feel like will be your best option, and if you're ready to pivot. Okay? Go ahead and give me a thumbs up, because it does help me to reach other people who may need to hear this as well. I thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Bye.